All right, welcome back to the channel and build of our bat van. So we are working on the outlet plate here for the front of the kitchen counter, and as you saw, we punched some holes in it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this and see if I need to touch up anything to make these outlets fit, and then we can get ready to install it in the van. Really? All right. Real close here. Here we go. All right, so let me pull those outlets out here. At least one of them. And the corners might be a little tight, so we'll double check those. Ooh, perfect fit. Sweet. Yes. I was afraid that the corners might be a little too big and I would have to notch those out, but it looks like it's going to be a perfect fit for at least that one hole. We'll try them both, and then hey, we'll set it up there, clamp it in place, mark some holes, and get that cabinet front cracked out. All right, so now we have our plate here kind of clamped in place. I went ahead and went around this thing with pencil, outlined my marks. We are level with the top of our drawer, and it looks pretty good. So next step is I'm going to use my little flush trim saw. We're going to get in here and attempt to cut this out on both sides. And I'm not going to record that. Place is too tight and all of us just can't fit in there, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so that went a lot faster than I thought, and our holes line up pretty decent like. Yep. So now what I'm going to do is get ready to mark around this, come over and probably drill a couple of holes, and then go in from behind and fasten those down, I believe. Peel off my tape here. Awesome. Pretty simple work. All right, so we'll set this up in place. I think that's going to look nice just like that. Yep. And then I'll come over 3/4 of an inch, drill a couple of holes, and come over about an inch on this side, drill a couple holes. We can fasten that on. Won't take much. And then we'll punch a hole here in the center and put our handle on. That'll hold everything in place, and then we can go ahead and put our outlets in and figure out how we're going to route that around. To our inverter. All right, so let me get a couple holes here, and then we'll fasten this on, and we'll call that good. And maybe get the handle on, and then we put the outlets in and run some wiring. Okay, so we're hustling right along. We have our panel in place. It is fastened down from behind. I have 2 screws here, 2 screws here, 2 up here, and I have fastened the handle all the way through. Now we are ready for our outlets. I'm going to just throw those in there. And then we'll get those fastened down. Just like so. 2 screws, one top, one at the bottom. And get those on. We'll run our wiring and then fire up the inverter and give it a test. Make sure the USBs work and obviously the outlets. Yeah. All right, so let me go ahead and get these attached, and then we'll figure out how we're going to run our wiring, and then we'll get that stuff hooked up. Cool. Hang in there. All right, well, we had a pretty good thunderstorm roll through and a lot of rain, and I got to do something with this door because if it's not closed all the way, or when you open it, yep, that rain comes right on in. So we'll worry about that later. Let me show you what I've got done with my electrical, how I run my wires back to the inverter, and then we'll turn things on and give it a try. All right, so in behind the cabinet here, I just went ahead and used some wire clamps and got my wires out of the way. Drilled my hole so the ends of the plug can go in. And then coming out from behind, we wire clamp there, run under our wiring, above our fuse box, and down the back to the side and into our inverter. So now we're ready to charge this thing and test and see if our outlets work. All right, so I did turn the fuse breaker on, got the battery selector switch on, or shut off switch. So our unit has power to it. And now we can come up here to this switch, turn it on, and we have power. And pulling about 42 watts, somewhere in there. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we'll check out the USBs on each one of these outlets. And for that, I've just got a little ring light here. And then we'll take our outlet here, plug that in, and see if we have power, which we do. So turn it on, bang, that USB works. Next, right on, right on, right on. Next, right on, right on, right on. Sweet. So we have power to the USBs. Now we will test our outlets. So let me grab something I can plug into that and make sure those work. All right, hang on. Okay, so I've got me a little fan here, little selector switch. So we'll give this a test run. So we're going to try the first outlet here and turn it on. Ooh, nice. Little Vornado. Okay, that works. Next. All right, so we can call this outlet good. Next. And one more. Okay, we're in business. All right, so we have the electrical all but done. I think I have a wire that I need to run to the stove for the on and off knobs. I'm thinking that I will relocate these lights. I think I will put those up here. I'm just not liking the looks of those right there. So I'm gonna put them up here along this edge, and I think out of sight, out of mind, that'll work better. Then I might have a different little solution for an over the stove light that will work a little bit better. And I think now for under here, as I said, for the stove, I have a trip planned, so I'm going to temporarily install a propane tank under here, just for cooking purposes for a few days, and then we'll figure out where that's actually going to go when we're all said and done. I need to put another little false floor on here so I can run all my lines under for water and everything like that. So I got a few things I need to get done. So let me grab some stuff and we'll get started. Okay, one more little task out of the way. So I went ahead and relocated my lights to the side panel right here, which I think, well, I think they look better. They're not all hanging down here, and I think they'll be a little more functional. So that works for me. I'll see if I close that door and turn the lights on if it makes any difference. All right, so I closed the door there so the sun's not shining in on us. And if we kick our lights on here, yeah, perfect. I think that gives just a little bit of light where I want it. Just like so. So I think that looks pretty decent. It's going to work for my needs. All right, next task. All right, so we've had a lot of fun today. We did get our outlets installed, a couple other things that I wanted to get done, moved my lights around, rewired those, turned out nice. And now we getting ready for the next task. So let me show you what it is. So temporarily, I will set the gas bottle here, and I need to put another 1x2 on the back, and that way I'll be able to strap the tank in place. That'll secure it, and then started working on fittings for the water lines. Plumbing's come up pretty soon, but need to get the tank in, test out the stove, and make sure all that's working. And I do have to wire one more wire to the stove, run it around over to our fuse block, and call that good. So that's where we're at right at the moment. Next task is going to be to install, hook up, and get the tank in place for the propane and get the stove going. And then once that's done, probably do a makeshift holding tank for the sink and get that in place before we start actually plumbing up the water lines. So that's what we're going to do, and if you stay around, you'll see how we do it.